if I needed money, I wouldn't ask for no charity. I'd rather stick a gun up my ass and pull the trigger.
Welcome to The Explainer. Sometimes a good deed can just completely blow up in your face. And that's exactly what we're talking about today. We're diving into this really bizarre, very public feud over a GoFundMe campaign for the actor Mickey Rourke. It's a story that starts with what seems like good intentions, but man, it ends with an absolutely shocking public denial. Okay, so listen to this quote. "I'd rather stick a gun up my ass and pull the trigger." And no, that is not a line from one of his movies. Those are the actual, completely unfiltered words of Mickey Rourke himself. That was his response to a GoFundMe that was set up in his name. I mean, wow, it's an unbelievably shocking thing to say, and it's basically the match that lit the fuse on this whole controversy. So, the big question is, how on earth do you get from a simple charity fundraiser to that kind of reaction? I mean, a denial that violent? Well, that's exactly what we're going to try and figure out today. We're going to unpack these totally conflicting stories, look at the serious money that was on the line, and really dig into what this whole messy situation says about celebrity, trust, and, online fundraising in general. All right, so first things first. Let's start with Mickey Rourke's side of things, because his denial, it wasn't just a simple, "No, that's not me." Oh no. It was what you might call a full-throated, scorch-the-earth kind of rejection of the entire thing. He literally said, "I wouldn't know what a GoFundMe foundation is in a million years." So he's not just saying no, he's claiming he doesn't even know what the platform is. He went on to call the whole thing humiliating and basically made it crystal clear that he thought it was a total scam, set up completely behind his back. Okay, but here's where the story gets really interesting. As soon as Rourke's explosive denial hits the news, a totally different version of events starts to come out. And it's coming from inside his own team. So check this out. On one side, you've got Mickey Rourke saying he has absolutely no idea what's going on, total ignorance. But then, on the other side, you have his own manager, Kimberly Hines, saying she set the whole thing up with his full permission. I mean, it's the classic he said, she said dilemma, and it's right at the very heart of this entire mess. Right? I mean, how can both of those things possibly be true? They can't. And that's the question that, sent the media into a total frenzy. A complete denial versus a claim of full consent. They're polar opposites. One of them has to be wrong. Clearly, there was something else going on here. So with these two completely opposite stories floating around, everyone was just left wondering, who's telling the truth here? But then, a reporter who'd been following the whole thing really closely stepped in and offered a third perspective, one that might just unlock what was really going on. This reporter, Seth Abramovich, he basically hinted that the truth was probably somewhere in the middle. He said there were some, quote, fudged details in the whole thing. His theory was that this wasn't just a simple lie, but that it was born out of a really desperate, super high-stress situation for Rourke. So the idea here is maybe this wasn't about malice or someone trying to scam people. Maybe it was just a massive miscommunication. You take a desperate situation, you add a ton of stress, and then you throw in a breakdown in communication between an actor and his manager, and boom, you've got the perfect storm for a PR nightmare. But look, whether it was a deliberate lie or just a huge misunderstanding, one thing was for sure. This was a big deal. It wasn't some private argument anymore. You've got a public GoFundMe at the center of it all, and the fallout was immediate. And it was very, very real. Because before this whole thing blew up, the campaign was actually a massive success. We're talking about almost $100,000. That's a lot of money, all raised by fans and supporters who genuinely believed they were helping Rourke out during a tough time. So imagine your GoFundMe in this situation. You've got these two completely different stories coming from the same camp. What do? Well, they did the only thing they really could do. They slammed the brakes and paused the entire campaign. Just like that, $100,000 in donations was just left hanging in the balance. When you put it all together, the crazy quotes, the conflicting stories, this whole incident is just a perfect storm, isn't it? It's part celebrity drama, part cautionary tale about modern fundraising, and it's a really stark reminder that behind all the headlines and the polished public images, things can get incredibly messy, incredibly fast. So what's the big takeaway here? What does this all mean? Well, it's a story that really makes you think about who you trust, what you believe, and, frankly, how we all try to help people in this digital age. When a public plea for help just completely implodes like this one did, who's actually responsible? Is it the celebrity, their team, or is it the platform itself that makes it all possible in the first place? There aren't any easy answers here, and honestly, that's what makes this whole story so fascinating to unpack.